Hi guys, my name is Gaurav Bansal. I graduated in 2009 in information technology from India. I have around 15 years of experience working in information technology like building services, web applications, test infrastructure. I am currently working with Amazon for around 2015, almost like 10 years now. So yeah, that's all me. Let's talk about why we are here today. So today we are here for the LLM applications. The industry is moving fast. Everyone is learning LLM. Everyone is talking about large language models and how to use it in their day-to-day testing, how to use it in their day-to-day life changing events like finding the flights, finding the code solution, or finding anything at this moment. But how do we test LLM application? That's the question today, right? We are talking about. So testing LLM applications, before we can talk about that, let's talk about how do we test a normal service or how do we test a simple method. So for an example, let's talk about a method that does the sum. 2 plus 2 equal to 4. 2 and 2 is an input, 4 is an output. So you assert equal with input, which is 2 and 2, assert output, like 4 comma 4, I am equal, I'm done. How do you test an LLM application? LLM are like kids, like they answer different. So let's, for an example, I ask an LLM question, how is the weather today? It says answer is the weather is awesome, it's 62 degrees. Okay, I have an expected output, the same, weather is awesome, it's 62 degrees. I message assert equal, it worked fine. My test passed. Same thing, I asked the question again, how's the weather today? The weather is wonderful, it's 74 degrees today. My God, the answer I got first is different than the answer I got second. So I'm not going to assert equal to it. What do we do then? How do we test it? This is a horrible situation being a testing industry or a software developer. How do you test your LLM application? So how do we test it? So the thing is, like, we don't test it, we evaluate it. For an example, like you go to the doctor, right? Doctor asks you like, how are you feeling on a scale from 1 to 10? And you say, I'm feeling 9. That means you're good, great, wonderful. And 2, I'm bad, I'm not doing good, I just want to lay down. Same thing happens with LLM. You evaluate them, you don't test them. So there are very many metrics available into the market that tells you how to evaluate it. Like what the text was input, did you get the correct response? Is the similarity is good? Is the evaluation is good? Is there context relevant or other things? So you evaluate them. You don't assert equal to them. You judge them based on a scale from 0 to 10. And then let's talk about the first slide that we are talking today, the enterprise scale challenge. What is the challenge we are facing? The challenge is like everywhere. We have building LLM applications, and LLM applications are everywhere. It is in pharmacy, it is in education, it is in sports, everywhere. And they are growing every single day. They are learning so many things. They are getting complex and complex. Everyone wants to use LLM for their work today. No one wants to write the code for services. They are getting complex. Operational performance variability, like they are huge, right? There you have huge data centers over there, so you need to work to them to understand them. You need to understand like, how do I manage these huge data structures and huge data storage, escalating stakeholder expectations. So LLM is going big, right? So everyone wants to get their things done within seconds, within minutes, or within microseconds actually. LLM today is slow. Slow means like they process a ton of data. Like they talk about ton of data, like you put an input, there is a large data set, they have to go through it, they think about it, and they respond it. How can you make it more quicker? Those are the challenges we are currently facing. Let's talk about traditional metrics, like how do we handle that, like factual accuracy, safety, coherence, adherence. So accuracy is one thing that we always talk about, right? I want my LLM to give me the correct answer, not the wrong answers. And how many times it's gonna give me the correct answer, and what is the criteria of the correct answer? If the answer is matching with an expected results, 80%, is it correct? It is accurate. So we need to always check on those metrics. Safety, like I want my LLM not to provide wrong answers, right? Anybody can use LLM to do anything bad. So I want my LLM, when someone asks a question to hurt something, to destroy something, my LLM should respond, I don't know the answer. Coherence, logical coherence. Every time I ask a question, LLM has to give me the correct answer. It should be logical. It should not be like, how's the weather today? And LLM answering is, today is, I'm going to buy a car. That's not logical. So you need to understand that thing. Instruction, like, how precise is that? How easy is to interpret? Like, can it support multiple step instructions or not? So those things LLM has to know. Those are the beyond the traditional metrics. Business impact. Let's talk about the third slide. Business impact of robust evaluation. Very well. LLM currently utilizing so many things. So for an example, it's writing code. Earlier, we used to do simple Java upgrades and all those things. Everyone has to spend time on it, like hours and hours writing code, even though it was just one line of code. You still need to test it, you still need to deploy it, you still need to make sure that it's not breaking things. For a normal developer to make a Java upgrade, it was at least a 1 day of work. With LLM, it is like a 5 minutes of work. It just put up the CR for you, it put up in your pipelines, it runs the test case and all those things. So it's getting more, providing more business impact. Its failure reduction is one of the categories. So how many failure reductions we are facing? Like 30% failure reduction. So what a human could catch it, like where I used to do, if we are people as used to do manual testing by reading some of the test cases, but we are humans, right? We get tired after 10 hours shift, 9 hour shift, my eye doesn't work. I am not able to figure out what test case is on the left, how many is passed, how many is relevant, how many is failed. With LLM, they don't get tired. They can always execute your test cases. They can always run your integration tests. They never get tired. Reliability, it has gone up because of we are training LLM every day. We are providing a lot of data. So it's always going up. Faster iterations, like, as I said, like it never gets tired. So you can always run as many times as you want. Distributed evaluation architecture. Now let's talk about real-time monitoring. Every time that LLM is going into that, like we are doing the real-time monitoring, it has to be there. Every time the model is changing, we are changing the model on the back end, new model is coming. We want to assess it. We want to see that it is good, doing the right thing or not. How do you do it? Like you get the evaluation results before, then you put a new model, and then you do the evaluation results after, and then you match it, and then you say, oh my God, now I can see my model is working good before or now. And if it is degrading the performance, it alerts. So that's how it works. It's scalable infrastructure. It is really scalable. Like you can just like run thousands of utterances towards your LLM and it always give you the precise results. It cannot, but the infrastructure is scalable. Hub and spoke testing, specialized evaluation models for different capabilities, enabling target assessment for reasoning, knowledge retrieval, and creating generation is the one of the key part. Let's go back to the human element. Humans are really very important. It has to provide, right? Sometime LLM needs to be tested by a human. It doesn't has to be like LLM can test itself, but human has to know what is right, what is wrong, at least at this moment. Once LLM grow up, maybe we don't need humans, but currently an expert review is needed for all the test cases or all the data that we are using to test an LLM for accuracy. We need to make sure that it has been reviewed by a human. To expert review, feedback loops, whatever the problems we are seeing with an output of the LLMs, we need to make sure that it also has to go through the humans so that they can provide the feedbacks that is good or not. Bias detection. If human is finding there is a problem in the output, there is a problem in the input, we need to solve those problems before sending it out. Adversarial testing, edge case generation. Next slide that we are talking about. So edge case generation is strategically create challenging and unexpected scenario, right? So those are like very, like LLM is able to test where you need to prove is running, like you can send any kind of utterances to it. There should be guardrails. You cannot ask a bad question to it, right? The guardrail should save it and it say, oh, this is the question that I don't support it. Red team exercises. Every time we need to make sure that we mislead it, we break it, we do some of the security vulnerability testing on it. So like you need to make sure that you send, like whatever the data you are sending to your LLM is not gonna be open up to the public. Some of the times you are working on the project that is like critical projects, that is not going to open for the public. That's going to be published maybe 2 months from now, but it's going to change how your industry is working. So you need to make sure that those things is not open to anyone else. That is very important. Stress testing. Stress testing is also really important because you need to make sure that your LLM can support thousands and millions of requests. Everybody is growing up, right? So your service should be able to support all those testing. You should be able to do the stress testing before to make sure that it is able to support the high volume of queries and complex queries. That is really important in the testing as well. Then we talk about the testing compliance integration documentation. So every time you are doing anything, you document it. You write test results, you write evaluation methodologies, you write remediation actions, everything to be documented. That's a key part of any testing. Transparency. Implement clear reporting mechanism that articulate how AI decides on evaluated, right? AI decisions are evaluated. Make sure that you have the evaluation in place. And so always keep your back evaluation results and your new evaluation results. Regular audits, as I said, keep auditing your data. Make sure that you are adding new data. Make sure you are removing the data that is stale. Geographic adoption. Make sure that wherever you are, you need to make sure if you're part of India, then you need to make sure that the standards of India are followed. If you're part of US, then the standards of US is follows. Evaluation trends, simulation driving, multimodal evaluation, continuous evaluation has to be there. Any service that is using LLM, right? So all the service at this moment is using LLM. You need to make sure you put enough testing in your CDCI pipeline, so you should be able to test it. It could be related to the input, it could be related to the output. LLM is not only testing your services. There was like model that can be evaluated like without even going through your business logics. It can be simply be evaluated. Continuous evaluation is very important. Keep continue evaluating, learn from your mistakes, understand what the old one was that, and then make sure the new one. Implementation roadmap. Oh, this is very important to learn. So before you are going to evaluate an LLM or evaluate an application that uses LLM on the back end, first you need to define its evaluation criteria. Like what are the metrics you are going to achieve from this evaluation? Like it is similarity metrics, it's log metrics, it's like any metrics that is important for evaluation for an LLM. Infrastructure. Next comes to the infrastructure. Like once you have the documented the metrics, you build infrastructure, right? You create service, you create UI, you make sure that your service has access to your LLM. Your service has access to your knowledge bases. You use the UI to show how the previous golden data set was executed towards your LLM and what was the result, what was the evaluation criteria were met or not. Intricate human feedback always be there because you don't know the test data is stale. The golden data set that we are evaluating an LLM is gone, is bad, is new, even the LLM response is correct or not. So always have a human in there. Continuous improvement, learn from your mistakes. Whatever the bad thing happens, if the LLM was bad previously, learn from it. Automate evaluation process, try to automate it. Make it part of your CDCI pipelines, make it part of automated deployment. Don't make sure, because every time you have to run it manually, it's not going to work. So you always want to put it in your automation. Implement compliance monitoring. Make sure that you are not using any production data, you're not using any red data in there. Same thing, driving innovation with confidence. Yes, evaluate, improve, deploy, monitor, and learn. Keep repeating the same loop. Evaluate, deploy, improve, monitor. Evaluate, improve, deploy, monitor. Same thing. Keep on moving the same circle and make sure that you are in the confidence. Yep, that is all about the LLM that I can talk about. Anything that, yeah, it was really great talking to you. And then I hope I would be able to provide some more presentations in near future. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later then. Bye bye guys. Bye.